And speaking of things that are close to call, that one of them is not the presidential race. We have been getting some news about that. There will be a little bit later on, we'll hear some news on that. Meanwhile, we have another visitor we'd like to welcome. Tiffany Renee is here from the city of Petaluma, where you have been seeking this will be your second term, I believe, and you're currently the vice mayor.
I'm the vice mayor.
And you must also be having a bit of an anxious evening.
Actually, I'm feeling pretty good because this is where I was 4 years ago. The early absentees tend to be very conservative in Petaluma, and we've done an excellent ground game. We've had the Democratic Party working hard as well as some other folks walking for us. We've had over 35 volunteers walking for us. We did get out the vote over the last few days, and so once those numbers start to come in for the rest of the night, I think that our numbers will certainly go up.
Pretty clear that Mike Healy's going to come in first place.
I think that was a given no matter what.
Why is that?
This I think is his fourth term that he's running for, and has done well each time that he's ran. So he's also run for mayor in the past as well. He's very well known. So.
Now you had to kind of switch gears. You were involved in the congressional campaign earlier this year, and then had to pull back, and now you're retooling to run in the city of Petaluma for a second term. How much of an adjustment was that for you?
Actually, the congressional race was really a wonderful experience to be able to have that experience running into this race. We did 24 forums in just under a year. And I think it really benefited me as a candidate, and we were already up and running, so we just kept it going.
You have made quite a bit of your own personal story as a factor in the race, and I wonder how you balance that between policy positions and sort of that personal connection.
Well, I've experienced a number of challenges in my life, and I think that those challenges that I have faced really have lent the experience that one needs to deal with policy and to understand where our constituents are, the experiences that they're going through, especially in these rough times. And having gone through that and survived it, and having that resilience, I think has really benefited me to be able to understand what the voters need right now.
You know, you have not just a seat on the city council, but as a former bridge director, I have to say you also have a seat on the Golden Gate Bridgeport, which is for Sonoma County, a very prestigious spot.
It's been wonderful to serve at the regional level. I've been a very strong voice both at the Golden Gate Bridge as well as on the ABAG planning committee, and I've filled in for Susan on the executive committee as well. I serve on the SCTA, the Sonoma County Transportation Authority. I've really focused my global climate change issues on transit and transportation, because I think that's where we really need to make those big leaps. And so I've really focused on transit and transportation, reducing congestion, getting it into the minds of the voters that congestion equals climate change. And so we've got to be able to keep our bus systems up and running, and get people off the road, out of their cars, into buses, and widen the 101.
You mentioned a moment ago that the early results, the absentee results in Petaluma, tend to skew conservative. In those early numbers, we're also seeing 58% support for Measure X. So are you holding out hope that that may surge as well?
I am. I'm very hopeful for Measure X, and it's something that Petaluma really needs right now. We've put so many maintenance issues on the back burner because of all the budget cuts that we've had, and we really need parks and recreation facilities for our residents. There's a big need there, and it's something that really is a crime prevention tool to be able to have those parks and play fields for kids to go to. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that pass.
I know David Glass, was here about an hour ago, and Mayor Glass of Petaluma, and he was, I would say, pessimistic on that measure, feeling that with the 2/3 requirement it was tough. Was he crazy, or?
I'm hopeful.
Okay.
You have to be hopeful. I mean, we've seen Obama come through tonight with great grace and victory, and so you have to be hopeful.
I have to ask you a question, because I know you've been involved in Democratic politics in Sonoma County for a long time. Am I correct on that?
I have.
What's your reaction to the race in the Assembly race?
I hope that we see that gap widen, and that Michael will do really well. They've had an incredible ground game as well, and I think that it's been a strong race for them, and I think they'll pull it off.
Because I just got the 92% numbers in Marin, and Levine is ahead by 2,500 votes with 92% of the Marin vote cast.
So he's maintaining his margin, even though it's not a wide one.
Very, long count.
Well, speaking of Democratic politics and the president, we actually have some news on that front, and in a moment we'll be rejoining our friends from PBS to, I believe, have news from the president as he addresses the public regarding his victory. So we invite you to come back for local coverage after this cutaway for this National Word.